Hi, my name is Hannah Falal, and as my most inspirational leader, I chose Nelson Mandela. So here's a PowerPoint on his life and all the great accomplishments he has made. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918 in a small village in South Africa. He was the son of Chief Henry Mandela of the Madiba clan. However, when Mandela was 5, his father passed away, so him and the rest of his family were raised by the Timbu people. Mandela first attended South African Native College, which would be later known as University of Fort Hare. While in school, Nelson became set on being a lawyer, but in order to be a lawyer, he must have reclaimed his chieftainship. After this, Nelson attended the University of Witwatersrand to study law. With being so involved in the movement against racial discrimination, it led to his gain of many key relationships with black and white activists, which would later come in handy. After leaving school, Nelson joined the African National Congress. With him being so dedicated to the group, he quickly became the leader of its youth league. Nelson's dedication, however, grew stronger when a system that was created that restricted many racial problems throughout South Africa. Also, along the side of Oliver Tambo, Mandela established South Africa's first black law practice. Additionally, Mandela played a very important role in launching a campaign of defense against South Africa's past laws. He traveled throughout the country as a part of the campaign. He was trying to build support for the nonviolent means of protest against the laws that were in place. With being an activist, he became a frequent target for the authorities and faced many problems throughout his life. In December 1956, Mandela was arrested with more than 100 other activists on charges of treason. These charges were designed to harass these activists, and it caused many problems. Mandela was eventually released of charges in 1961. Soon later, the killing of unarmed black South Africans by the police happened. Mandela then decided to give up his nonviolent stance and began announcing the acts of sabotage against the South African government. After going underground, Mandela was arrested at a roadblock and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Mandela and several other men were tried for sabotage and treason and conspiracy. While in prison, Mandela gave a speech from the dock. In this speech, he admitted to some of the charges that were made against him and was used as a classic defense of liberty and defiance of tyranny. He was incarcerated at Robben Island Prison from 1964 to 1982. While in prison, Mandela gained wide support among South Africa's black population and became a celebrity among the international community. On February 11, 1990, the South African government released Mandela from prison. After Mandela's release, he was chosen as the deputy of the president of the African National Congress. He became the president of the party soon in July. He then led the ANC into negotiations with the South African president about bringing a peaceful transition to a more non-racial democracy. With this, Mandela decided to run for South African president. On April 26, 1994, more than 22 million South Africans turned out to cast ballots in the country's first multiracial elections in history. And then, on May 10th, Mandela was sworn in as the first black president of South Africa. As president, Mandela established the TRC. This commission investigated human rights violence under the apartheid. He also introduced housing, education, and economic development initiatives that were designed to improve the standard of living in the Black population of the country. Improving race relations, discouraging Blacks from retaliating against the white minority, and building a new international image of united South Africa were central to President Mandela's agenda. Mandela, however, did not seek a second term as South African president. Mandela retired from active politics but maintained a strong international presence. He mostly did this by the work of Nelson Mandela Foundation, which was established in 1999. He kept his devoted campaign for peace and the social justice for his country and around the world. Mandela founded a group called the Elders. This group was full of international leaders for the promotion of conflict resolution and problem solving around the world. During this time, he also became a vocal advocate for the AIDS program. This treatment was because of his son. He wanted to give the disease fewer views of ignorance from around the world. Mandela was treated for prostate cancer in 2001 and was really weakened by other health issues. He was frail for the later years of his life. And soon, Nelson Mandela died on December 5, 2013, from a recurring lung infection. Mandela put his impact on the world by being a transformational leader. So, in 2009, the United Nations declared July 18th, his birthday, Nelson Mandela International Day. This was because he was so dedicated to democracy, freedom, peace, and human rights around the world. Nelson Mandela will forever be remembered as a great leader.